Welcome to Hays Post News. I'm Becky Kaiser. One of 5 finalists for the Fort Hays State University presidential position has accepted the presidency at Black Hills State University in Spearfish, South Dakota. Dr. Tom Jackson Jr. will take over the Black Hills State job July 3rd. Another Fort Hays State finalist, Dr. Michael Droege, is also a finalist to become chancellor at Montana State University. The other finalists are Dr. Tisa Mason, Vice President of Student Affairs at Fort Hays State, Dr. Martin, Dean of the Reginald F. Lewis School of Business at Virginia State University, and Dr. Gregory Mosier, Dean of the College of Business at the University of Nevada, Reno. The Board of Regents selection is expected as soon as Friday. Longtime Fort Hays State President Dr. Ed Hammond is retiring June 30th. It's been 30 years since Ellenwood attorney Kent Roth was a Kansas state legislator. Now at age 61, he's jumping back into politics, campaigning for the 1st Congressional District GOP nomination against incumbent Tim Huelskamp. Roth's campaign theme song is Keep Talking by Pink Floyd. He believes Congress needs to do just that and stop the political rhetoric.
I think this fight between the president and the Congress has endangered Kansas hospitals and health care providers, and that's an important part of our economy, and I think we need to settle down. I think it's wrong to treat every issue as if it's a life or death issue. Political rhetoric needs to be toned down. I believe that the attack on that congresswoman in Arizona, the recent attack in Overland Park, the politicians need to tone it down a bit and not act as if every public policy dispute is something to go to war over.
Roth is a supporter of the congressional group No Labels, which encourages bipartisan legislation. The primary election is August 5th. Senior citizens often are victims of financial fraud. An upcoming seminar in Hays will teach older residents how to spot and prevent identity theft and protect their bank accounts. Local wealth management advisor Darcy Kane says more than 9 million elderly Americans were victimized last year.
Seniors are typically more vulnerable for these type of financial crimes because of their competency levels at times, because of their trustworthy nature. They're typically loyal, very giving, kind-hearted. They want to help, and so typically they are easy prey, easy targets for a lot of white-collar crimes.
Kane will present the session with State Assistant Attorney General Robert Novak. The free seminar is May 14th at the Kansas Highway Patrol office. Well, as the weather warms, a lot of people are firing up their outdoor grills. They may also be firing up about high beef prices. The cattle herd in the United States, the largest beef producer in the world, has fallen to an estimated 63-year low, that according to a Bloomberg survey. Beef cattle scientist John Yeager at the Hays K-State Agriculture Research Center says higher beef prices at the grocery stores don't mean more money for Kansas cattle producers.
It's always been in the top 3.
Wow.
And so part of that is due to our large finishing capacity, large commercial feedlots. Things have changed significantly the last few years due to drought and the sell-off of cattle, but Kansas has always been a very big player in terms of raising cattle and finishing cattle.
Yeager says the drought has caused poor pasture for grazing and higher grain prices for feeding cattle. The average retail value of all fresh USD choice grade beef jumped to a record $5.28 a pound in February. That according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
It's that bittersweet time at Keller Furniture Galleries when we must say goodbye to sofas, chairs, bedroom sets, mattresses, accessories, lamps, and pictures. Lucky for you, this means you'll get the chance to get great merchandise at closeout prices. All sales are final and are available on a first-come basis. Bring your trucks or delivery is available. Hurry in for the last chance sale at Keller Furniture Galleries, 1400 East 8th in Hays. See us in the Next Tech directory.
Keeping a construction project running on time, on budget, while maintaining structural integrity can be a huge challenge. Since 1966, many professionals have relied on the truss plant experts at Heartland Building Center to overcome these challenges using engineered roof and floor trusses. Every residential, commercial, and agriculture project is engineer certified and manufactured in their state-of-the-art facility. Experienced designers use specialized truss software to meet your project specifications. Save time and money. Call or email the truss plant at Heartland Building Center in Hays. Experience the difference at James Motor Company.
We're from Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're referred here through a friend of Stan Dreiling.
So it's been a just totally positive experience for us.
We've bought a lot of cars over the years, and we are just very impressed with what James Motor Company has done and the welcoming we've had.
Take a fresh new look at James Motor Company.
With the welcome we received, we would certainly recommend James Motor Company to anyone.
James Motor Company, downtown Hayes.
If you've ever felt like a bank was doing you a favor when you applied for a car loan, a vacation loan, or any loan, that's a very good sign you were at the wrong bank. The right bank for the money you need for the things you want is Bank of Hayes. We've made lending easy, friendly, quick. For the next car, the next boat, the next vacation, let Bank of Hayes show you how we've built better ways for you to get the money you need.
Building better ways, the Bank of Hayes.
This is a news update from the Salina Post. Kansas officials are blaming changes in federal tax policies for lower than expected state revenue collections in April. The Department of Revenue reported Wednesday the state's April collections were $92 million less than analysts had forecast less than 2 weeks ago. More than $89 million of the shortfall was in individual income taxes related to federal changes in calculating capital gains on investments and other income. Revenue Secretary Nick Jordan blamed President Obama's administration for changes made to the federal tax code that expired on January 1st of 2013. Jordan says other states have seen similar declines in revenue collections. A retired Salina police officer and cancer survivor plans to walk across Kansas from Colorado and Missouri to raise funds for Cops for a Cure as part of Relay for Life. 69-year-old Dean Bonowitz will begin his 400-mile walk on May the 12th and hopes to finish on June the 12th, which will be a pace of about 15 miles per day. Bonowitz will be walking along U.S. Highway 36 and have limited support along the way from his wife Nancy and friends. Last year, Bonowitz, who spent 22 years as a Salina police officer and 4 years with the Saline County Sheriff's Office, raised $3,500 for Relay for Life by walking along K-14 from Nebraska to Oklahoma. Saline County Sheriff Glenn Kokonowski's pledged to donate $1 a mile for the walk. If you'd like to make a donation, you can send it to Cops for a Cure at 251 North 10th in Salina, or drop off donations at the Saline County Sheriff's Office during regular business hours Monday through Friday. The Saline County Sheriff's Office will keep track of the daily progress of Bonowitz on their website at salinesheriff.org. Defendants convicted of premeditated first-degree murder in Kansas would face a mandatory life sentence with no chance of parole for at least 50 years under a bill heading to Governor Brownback. The House approved the measure on a 123-0 vote. Senators approved the bill on April the 5th. The bill would double the mandatory time defendants must serve before being eligible for parole, but allow judges to decide whether lesser sentences are warranted. Currently, prosecutors can seek the so-called hard 50 sentence against first-degree murder defendants, but it can only be imposed by juries after weighing factors presented during a trial. The bill would also impose a minimum 25-year prison sentence for defendants convicted of attempted capital murder or committing murder during another felony. A spokesman for the Kansas prison system says that the agency was already planning to review the state's execution process before a botched execution in Oklahoma. Corrections Department spokesman Jeremy Barclay said Wednesday officials will consider which drugs will be used in lethal injections and steps that administer them as an execution nears. Barclay said an execution isn't likely for at least several years in Kansas. Kansas enacted its current capital punishment law in 1994, but has yet to execute any convicted murderers. This has been a news update from the Salina Post.
Thanks, Randy. And remember, you can always get the latest updates and more news stories on our website, hayespost.com. Meteorologist Dan Holliday is in next with our weather forecast. Stay tuned.
Why go anywhere else but Horizon Appliance and Electronics for quality name brand appliances like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Maytag, plus many state-of-the-art electronics such as Samsung, LG, and Sharp TVs, plus America's most recommended mattress, Tempur-Pedic, even Traeger grills. A full selection of quality appliances, electronics, and mattresses all under one roof. Horizon Appliance and Electronics in Hayes, open 7 days a week.
For all the reasons, in the end, you do it for them. Advance Funeral Planning. It keeps your family informed, creates memories the way you'd like them crafted, and it makes sure everyone is prepared. Pre-planning. It just makes sense. Brock's North Hill Chapel, Hayes.
Imagine throwing a tomato at an evil character or a referee while watching your favorite sports team on TV. Eagle Fusion has preloaded games like tomato, bowling, video poker, and more. Let the fun begin with Eagle Fusion for only $5 per month. Call 877-61-EAGLE today.
Imagine your TV showing you who's on the phone before you reach for it. Eagle Fusion's built-in caller ID displays who's calling. Get Eagle Fusion for only $5 per month by calling 877-61-EAGLE today.
We will be clear overnight, our low in the low 30s with a wind northwesterly at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. That'll make for a cool start to the day on Friday, but warmer during the afternoon with a high 78. Friday night's low 45 and then 85 on Saturday. From the Eagle Stormwatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dan Holliday.
And that's Hayes Post News. Thanks for watching. I'm Becky Kaiser.